two Americans 2 years in a row fighting it out.
Yes, and two Americans who seem to be at the top of their form in terms of their career and at this very moment.
That is Pete Sampras to serve in the first game.
Out! 15-love. There's
this beautiful whippy service action. Sampras, second point of the match, 192 Ks. It would appear that Sampras is absolutely intent on serving at his best from the very beginning of this match.
That point might be something that we'll look for throughout this match, because Agassi wasn't afraid to go down the line with the forehand to Sampras's forehand. So many times opponents of Sampras keep him locked up in the backhand side. Pete knows that, but Andre likes to go the other way too. Exactly what I talked to Brad Gilbert before the match, and he said that's what Andre was going to try to do. Hit to the backhand 2, 3, 4 times, and then he loves to go down the line, both with the backhand and with the forehand. At 2 points in a row early that he's won with that play.
Andre's so aggressive when he does go down the line, more so than anyone else. And there's Aryna Sabalenka, who's been such a supporter of Pete's. His girlfriend now for several years.
Game, Sampras. First game.
Well, the conditions are absolutely perfect. The sun's out now, and I think it's actually going to warm up a bit before we're through.
Andre Agassi to serve.
Pete Sampras, as he has all week, been struggling with the rackets, and he's already sent one to be restrung. It didn't break, but he hasn't quite been happy with the tensions right throughout the week. But I must say, he looks very fit, very relaxed, and I don't think showing any ill effects of a couple of days ago.
Well, and Pete strings his rackets with gut between 32 and 33 kilos, which is about 70 pounds. And his racket's a heavy racket. It's 380 grams, which is about 30 grams more than the women would have played with yesterday. And it's even heavy for the guys. Very head heavy, puts lead tape in the head. Helps on that big serve.
15 all.
Bruce, when you interviewed Mary Pierce after yesterday's final, and Nick had so much to say, one of the things he said was that Andre would win 9 out of 10 of their encounters from the back of the court. Having had something to do with both players.
I think Pete might disagree with that. That's the play.
This is a bit of an overstatement. I don't think anybody wins 9 out of 10 points from anywhere.
13-15.
There's Brad Gilbert, Andre's coach, his wife Kim in front, who's an artist. Looking quite a picture herself.
Brad would have been ecstatic with that last rally, because that's exactly the pattern that Brad has told Andre to attack on Pete.
Again, attacking the forehand. Sampras having a good hard look at where the ball landed, but just on the inside edge of the line. Here's a comparison of their serves. The similarity is that they both use a tremendous knee bend, arching their back, and really do use their bodies. Both players off the ground at the point of impact.
Wow, I didn't realize how similar they weren't. I've never seen a split screen like that. It's amazing how similar. Of course, one's a few centimeters taller.
15 love.
Well, I think they know quite a bit about these two players, but I think it's sort of unlikely that either would win in straight sets. Especially now seeing them on court and seeing Sampras fully fit, keen and serving well. Very, very close baseline call. Absolutely no question from Andre Agassi. Just long.
Well, that's one of the crisper volleys we've seen from Sampras. Sometimes his volley in the Courier match was lacking that kind of power. Watch him come in here, racket face, nicely open, but still sticks it.
He's started in good form, hasn't he? The defending champion. It's 2-1 in the opening set.
Sampras leads 2-1. Love 15.
Well, that's the exact opposite of Pete Sampras.
15 all.
But that's very similar to Pete Sampras.
Well, except it was in slow motion at 166. Sampras's aces often well into the 190s, sometimes even over 200.
Thirteen, 15. Fourteen, 15.
Two all in the opening set. Alan, both players look to be sharp. They look to be in form. How are they hitting it off the deck?
Well, they started off that way, but I was a little bit surprised. Pete got a bit upright on a couple of ground strokes there and mishit those. He almost hit that last one too early. But I just watching from down here, I don't think he can really stay back too much with Agassi. He's got to take a few chances. He's got to get in. I see him winning if he can stamp his approval at the net, not at the baseline.
15 love. Thank you.
That volley not well placed enough. That's the key when you volley to Agassi. You can't make him be comfortable. Look where this backhand volley lands from Sampras. Just right really in the middle of the forehand court.
That error coming because of the power of
15.
the Sampras backhand volley against Rafter. Agassi only missed a couple of passing shot opportunities in the entire match.
Well, what Pete Sampras is going to do when he has a second serve in this match will be interesting. That time he chose to serve and volley. Of course, it only comes down at about 156 Ks instead of the usual 190, 195. Gives Agassi all sorts of time. We saw Rafter have difficulty when he tried to serve volley on second serves earlier. Any great returner can't know what the server's doing. You've got to keep him guessing. That time Pete having a second serve and staying back.
Game, Sampras.
Holds in style. It's 3-2 now in the opening set.
Sampras leads 3-2.
Grace lost the first point of each service game. This time way out of court. The line is open for Sampras and he nails it.
So Pete had some trouble early with the second serve, the one that gets up high, both on the backhand and the forehand side. That one he mishit. In the last service game of Agassi, he mishit a couple of backhands.
That's 13-15.
Second ace for Agassi, both of them going to the forehand of Pete Sampras, wrong footing him. Element of surprise being the factor in the ace. Off the second serve. Around it will damage off his forehand.
Well, there has been a familiar pattern to the Agassi service games. John mentioned he'd lost the first point on each of his 3 service games.
3-all.
He's won consecutively the next 4 points. So we look at some stats on serve after 3 games each.
Well, I think you should get your first serve in, at least if you're Pete Sampras. It's perfect.
15 love.
Well, Brad Gilbert said before this match that Pete is a better server when he serves at 50%, because that means he's really going for it, and he's probably getting close to 90% service winners off the first serve by the end of the match. First double fault by either player. I think what Brad was talking about in that instant is that, you know, if Pete's serving 65–70%, that he's not going for his big one, it's not as intimidating for the returner. And against Andre, he needs to try and get on top with a serve.
Versus 15.
Serve straight down the centre. It's the danger if he's only getting 50% of first serves in, it means that Agassi is going to get a crack at an awful lot of second serves.
That's
That's where he's been so devastating throughout his career. Sampras trying to press again on the second serve, coming up with 2 double faults this game.
Well, Brad also said, and Brad Gilbert has coached Andre since the Lipton Championships, and that's when Andre's made this big move to the top. And he said that usually when Pete plays Andre, that he does go for his second serve, that he can't hit it the way he does against other players because Andre's return's too tough.
14-13.
Slider, quite a bit of power taken off. Additional slice that makes the ball move laterally, just 165 Ks.
It's this ad side that he's had trouble serving all game long.
What a point. It's 4-3 Sampras.
Sampras leads 4-3.
Close to the centre line. And Agassi still manufactures the winner. The reverse angle. Sampras would have had to move very smartly to get to that.
Juice.
That's the first point that Agassi has won off Pete's first serve. That's probably bad news for Pete.
Taking the ball from just inside the baseline. That's first serve was at 194 Ks. Agassi seeing the ball very quickly.
Advantage Sampras.
197. The 6th ace.
And the timing of Pete's aces throughout this match will be huge. This one coming at deuce, how many times can he pull that out on the deuce points or the break points?
Agassi signaling that the ball was wide.
And a decision for Pete to make, serve volley or stay back.
Juice.
Very conservative on the second serve. That one only at 132. Tried to nurse it in.
And all 3 of his double faults have come on this ad side. Obviously, Andre, by running around or threatening to run around the forehand, bothers him more on that side.
Agassi.
Brad Gilbert likes that first break point of the match.
Didn't Sampras wind himself up for that big one?
Genuine applause for this great tennis. And the first real test for Sampras in this match. Down break point, and he unloads with all he has off both wings. Deuce. Doesn't like the call.
Again, we repeat time and time again how on rebound ace, you can see the mark as clearly as you can on clay, which is a surface the umpire can get out of the chair and check a mark, but not on this surface.
I thought it just got the edge. From here it looks good.
Alan, did you get any look at it? I know you're a fair way away from it.
Well, I would say that I thought it was going to go out through the air, and I would say out, actually, but as I said, it's difficult for me to see here, but Pete is a very, very fair player, and, you know, I've got to think that I'd go with him.
It also suggests that the linesperson made a very, very quick call, maybe too quick.
Becoming a very big game now, isn't it? The ninth one of the first set.
This could be a dispiriting adventure for Agassi if he's to have a number of break points and not affect the break.
Remember the earlier stat that Pete Sampras has saved 81% of his break points. Usually when someone can save that many break points in a championship, the title can be his.
Choosing to go down the line then on the cross court on several forehand passing shots. Ferocious return. Sampras doing well to pick it up as well as he did off the half volley. Well, Pete could have suffered whiplash there. Serve going down at 192 and coming back at a similar pace. Taking the ball early, his weight moving forward, the two-fister hit as fast as a ground stroke can be.
But not well placed. It wasn't really up the team. It wasn't a body serve. Placement is the key against Agassi.
Well, this single game is fulfilling our anticipation of this match, isn't it? Great serving, wonderful volleying under pressure from Sampras, returning by Agassi, off the deck. It's had it all. Back to Deuce.
Andre accepts those aces. He knows that's going to happen. It doesn't appear to dispirit him. The seventh for Pete Sampras. Again, the slider out wide to the forehand. Right on the line.
He's held it. It's 5-4 Sampras, opening set.
leads 5-4. 15-all.
The differences between the Agassi forehand and the Sampras forehand. Sampras appears to hit it at his best when he's on the full run. Andre trying to crank that serve up. 181. He's timing it into the net.
15-13.
A bit of an emotional reaction from Agassi. Double fault. There's some pressure now. 15-30.
Well, it's the variety off the backhand. That approach shot was set up by the great roll back cross court. And both the topspin and the slice within just a few centimeters of the line.
Two of them at 15-40. Well, what about that? Can you believe it? In 6 matches prior to this at the Ford Australian Open, Agassi had served 5 double faults only. He served 2 in that single game.
Well, this is the query that we had over Andre's preparation. Had he had enough matches? Was he match tough? And here, his first real
Sampras
test,
to serve.
2 double faults when trailing 4-5 to really surrender the first set to Sampras in 39 minutes.
Pete Sampras, by the way, has never lost a Grand Slam final after winning the opening set.
Long 15.
You can do anything once you've been showed how to do it, can't you, Bruce?
In the 5 out of 6 that he's won the opening set.
He knows. He's just starting to think of coming in.
It's interesting how the first 8 games, it was all the server, no break points. And in the 9th game on Sampras' serve, he saved 3 break points. And then Agassi served 4-5, he dropped to 15, and now love 40. An amazing turnaround for the server, for the worst.
He's hit back quickly. He needed to.
Second look by Sampras at the line, but now he accepts the call. 15.
And Agassi only had 3 forehand winners in the first set. In that last game when he broke, he had 2.
That one at 189.
So that's 7 of 8 points since Agassi dropped the set, which is a great sign to be able to bounce back from a tough ending in the first set. He's come out charging.
Well, Pam, actually, I thought the first set went against the pattern of play from down here. I really thought Agassi was the better player. Probably should have broken it 4-all, and just those 2 doubles cost him the set, so I'm really not surprised to see him start quickly here in the second.
He's gone for a hat, we notice, Alan, Sampras.
Yes, well, good move. Very, very bright and hot down here now.
Sampras has proven himself in these conditions when it's been hot this year and last year. Andre Agassi has never suffered the heat that we can have at the National Tennis Centre on this surface.
Which he had to because of the stretch.
15-all.
It's great versatility.
I'm sure Pete thought he had the point one when he got in such a wide second serve. Beautiful hands of Andre Agassi. Very makeable volley that for Pete. Appeared to be drilled that hard. The ball was low. It was had to be hit with a lot of topspin, but Sampras just was timing the volley. In trouble on serve again, 15-30.
Well, Pete doesn't get anywhere near as close to the net as, say, a Stefan Edberg on his first volley. That last one, he was just maybe at the service line or a step inside.
Again, Pam, just a metre short of the service line, which forced the ball to get lower. Position now down 2 break points. It was a fabulous return of serve. Often dynamic for a serve down the centre. 2 break points for Agassi to go ahead 3-love.
Of course, Agassi would take the return earlier than most every single other opponent.
Double break for Agassi, 3-love, second set.
Agassi leads 3-love.
Double break for Agassi in the second set at 3-love.
Just too much line splitting drives from the back of the court. And it It's this angled backhand that set the point up right through the line. Sampras desperate to try to make the centre of the court, but the angle exposed, and Agassi nails it.
So that's probably going to be the attitude of Pete Sampras. Down 2 breaks, he's probably just going to swing and go for it, not wanting to have long rallies down these 2 breaks. And this was on the changeover with Todd Snyder, the ATP Tour trainer, is also applying sunblock. Always a good idea.
Pam, you want me to do the honours?
There's no sun shining up here, Jay.
Now it's an old cliche, but with both players, it's like the court's their canvas at times, the way they construct their points, isn't it?
Yes, really an extraordinary forehand from outside of the backhand corner. Had it not been a winner, it's almost certainly been outplayed with the next shot. He's got many great shots, Andre Agassi, but when the ball's about shoulder height at 3/4 court, he rarely loses the point.
That was the first drop shot that Agassi's tried in this match. Didn't work, brings up deuce. I suppose when you're up 2 breaks in a set, it's a time to bring out some variety.
Shoulder high on the forehand this time from behind the baseline. Agassi reduces the winner. And under a little bit of pressure at this stage. Deuce on serve. He'd like to wrap up this second set as efficiently as possible.
Well, Agassi already has more forehand winners in this set than he did in the first set, 4-3.
Deuce.
He's yelling at himself about the first serve. He's serving 59% so far.
Both of their first serve percentages way down in the second set. Sampras at 30%, Agassi 54%.
Deuce. It is becoming an important game, isn't it, for Agassi, because he's frustrated. If he loses this game, he goes back to 1 break up, and suddenly we've got a contest again in the second set. This would just about seal it, the second set, if you could go to 4-love.
Agassi.
telling the ball kid to get back. He's got it. He's got it.
He's got it too. Agassi.
Game, Agassi.
He's 4-love now.
It is a Grand Slam final, but Andre Agassi, that kind of
4-love.
crowd interplay that fans love around the world. That's why he's the most popular tennis player.
Forced errors. First set favouring Sampras, and the second set favouring Agassi.
15 love.
That's his 9th.
Virtual love.
Just rather nonchalant as he moved easily to his left and just whacked another winner from behind the baseline. Going for one of these king hits and getting it all wrong towards the bottom of the net.
Sampras on the ball. It's 4-1 Agassi, second set.
Agassi leads 4-1.
Just extraordinary power from the back of the court, but when Agassi has to defend, he defends very well. Deep slice, not much power, and it was Sampras who was frustrated by the end of that exchange.
Virtual love.
And Jay, interesting to note that last game, Andre Agassi just gave the last 2 points away when he was down 30 love. Just went for 2 huge forehands. Didn't bother about really working hard in that game, just conserving a bit of energy.
Been on the court for exactly 1 hour. Matches. A number of times he's had to chase balls down around the baseline.
That looked like one of Agassi's returns as far as where Pete was in the court. About a meter inside the baseline when he hits this.
Agassi leads 5-1.
Maybe Pete not chasing absolutely everything down at this stage of the second set.
Think he would have had time on that forehand?
Well, he made a pretty quick decision that he wasn't going to bend his back too much for it. So both players keeping an eye on the gas gauge, making sure that they can go the full distance.
Second serve. Love 15. Love 13.
That's Pete's 5th double fault. Before this match, he'd served 18 in 6 matches. Start of the set, as he found out when it gets close in the first set when it was 6-4. He's just sort of letting this go. Well, Alan, maybe you can see from down there. How's Pete looking? How's his face?
Well, a little bit of anguish appearing on it, but he's let this set go from about 10 minutes ago, I think. Really, he made a decision then.
For love, it appeared that he did let go. You never know if he's feeling a pinch a little bit. He might prefer to serve second. That way he gets a 90-second break before his service games.
Cheers.
Some players are more comfortable with that. But, he's come back from love 40 now, so maybe he's not really strategizing that much in his own mind. Or maybe he's changed his mind. In the line, Pete has a long, hard look, searching for the mark, but if he sees the mark, it'll only be half the ball outside. 99% out is in tennis.
Thank you.
So 4th set point for Andre Agassi on a second serve now. He's got it, and he's got the second set, and Sampras is not too happy about it. 6-1. This is their 4th meeting, rather symmetrical, isn't it? US, French, Wimbledon, and now the Australian. The all-important 3rd set at 1 set all.
15.
Sampras has the success going out wide on the first court. Andre Agassi has had an amount also.
What? Well, and the key to the ace to the wide side for a right-hander is getting it up the line, trying to let it bounce about a meter or 2 from the service line towards the net. That's the other thing it can do for you, is if they do get it back into play, you have the whole big court. Look what Andre Agassi sees for an open court. Pete doesn't have time to hit a good backhand. It's the third volley winner from Agassi.
I think on this first court here, Pete should stand a bit wider because I don't think he's reading the serve to the forehand. I think he should cover it a bit more and make Andre serve down the middle a bit more.
Famous Australian director in the crowd there, Fred Skepsky. A moment ago, there'll be a lot of famous faces out there today. Some of them are holding centre court, aren't they? Agassi and Sampras.
I bet you the famous ones are in the shade, or more likely to be in the shade.
You're not doing it too badly up here, Cain.
Best seat in the house between you two.
Thank you. Could I have that in writing, please?
Hold service. He's won 7 of the last 8 games, Agassi.
Sampras's first serve percentage down at 41%.
Dermot Brereton, who's attempting to make a comeback to AFL football. And with Dermot, his wife Tony. Played in 5 premiership teams with Hawthorn. Brereton. Service percentage you mentioned, John, of Sampras, 41 first service percentage. The lowest so far for any other match at this championship was against Magnus Larsson at around 45, where he's taken to 5 sets.
And he's averaged 55% for the total of all 6 matches going into this.
Very close. Agassi has a second look, a look of amazement towards.
It just looked.
Central umpire. The central umpire says just missed. And if it did only just miss.
Game, Sampras.
I'm sure that's what the type of play that Sampras wants to maintain, to have some structure to this match, to have the games going mainly on serve. Great tennis from Sampras, and he really is willing to graft. He dug the wide forehand back with a squash-looking shot, a lot of slice, did anything to stay in the point, and when the opportunity presented itself to attack, he attacked at full power.
All.
gets the corner. Agassi's coach, Brad Gilbert, wants him to attack when it's there. Something that Jim Courier the other night could have done.
And Agassi again attacking the linesman and the umpire over that call deep into the backhand corner. But as always, deadly on the short ball, even when it's sliced and kept low.
That time, Agassi's first serve was just put into play. 157, middle of the court, and Sampras pounced on it right away with a forehand and was in command the entire point. Agassi mostly is going with the changeup, the softer first serve right now. That one at 138 Ks. Now a break point.
Juice.
But Agassi's heart was in his throat then as that full swing from Sampras sent the ball rocketing back, just missing the forehand corner. Agassi survives to juice.
String broken, rushes in. Well, Delana likes that play because even she knows that when you break the string, you got to get to net. Can't control it.
Sampras.
Agassi absolutely beside himself for not doing enough with the passing shots. He thought that anything that would present a volley for Sampras would be good enough, but Sampras managed to hold on. I think Pete might be looking for the damper, but fell from his racket. He's picked it up, retrieved it. Break point again for Sampras.
And gets it. So Sampras with his nose in front in the third set. In the third set at 2-1.
That's Paul Anacone, who stepped in to help out in the coaching and the hitting partner side for Pete Sampras.
Tim Gullickson spoke to Pete Sampras by telephone before the match, wished him well. Great shot by Agassi. It's love 30.
And as when he was broken to lose the first set, he hit back immediately, and that's what he's doing now. Spectacular topspin forehand lob on the full run. The volley was sensational from Sampras. Love 30. Well, there's always going to be one of those little aces lying around the place when Sampras is in trouble. He's 12th. First serve couldn't have been any better, straight down the center at 189 and sent back with interest.
Look how Agassi was leaning. He picked it. He was leaning to his right. When you play somebody often enough, you can either tell by a little bit of the toss or know their pattern.
Feel like the sparring's finished, don't you? This championship match is fully alight now.
13-14.
It's quite interesting. Agassi moves very quickly over a short distance, but when he's got to go fully from one side to the other, it's actually quite heavy-footed. And it's his initial acceleration that's so phenomenal.
Well, again, Agassi on the serve up the tee from Pete Sampras. He's waiting for this serve. He knows Pete likes to serve it up the tee, up the center. It's the return that sets it up.
It was a fine volley by Sampras off a great return. But what a passing shot from Agassi. Threw himself at the ball as he did against Rafter. Magnificent passing shot. 2 games all. Great volley, deep and solid. But look at that passing shot from behind the baseline, 2 meters behind the baseline. Just snapping through the air. Disappointed at losing his serve in the previous game. He doesn't give too much away, though. Facial expressions don't change, nor do Andre Agassi's. The game's leveling out now, each one being keenly contested. Only the second game of this set going to love.
You can see the little rubber band there on Andre Agassi's racket as we see Brad Gilbert with his head down. Not sure he wants to watch, but that's the little rubber thing that flew out of Pete Sampras's racket when he broke his string, and players use that to cut down on the vibration.
Pete seems to be moving okay as we watch that one in replay. He seems to also now be starting to pick up the wide serve to the forehand. He's looking for it a bit more. And the one thing I would say, though, he doesn't quite have the rhythm on his own serve that we usually see from him.
Usually the opportunist. Great point, but he got a big first serve in and failed to move in. And the ball was so high and deep he couldn't even take it on the rise. Had to just play the ball back into play, let Sampras off the hook. And then he was really struggling. Groveling, doing anything to get the ball back into play, but now down break point. Steer at the line calls. A couple of guys that normally don't question calls, they're certainly giving them a hard second look today. It was Agassi when he was broken. The third game of this set that was preceded by the questioning of several calls.
Well, we saw Pete the other day when he had an overrule in the first set tiebreak against Courier go against him, then questioned so many more calls. Here's the low angle. Pete tries to hit the big forehand return cross court just over the baseline.
Back on serve now in the third set, 3-2 Agassi.
Agassi leads 3-2.
big game for Sampras. He's been broken 4 times in his last 6 service games.
Love 15.
Even for a concession maybe in the 7th game of the 2nd set, that's a pretty impressive performance for the returner.
Great first serve, maybe not quite enough with the volley, and then asked to make a difficult drop shot. The faster the ball is hit, the more difficult it is to make a touch shot. Certainly with some steam on that Agassi forehand.
Love 13.
Well, that last serve from Sampras did jam Agassi nicely into the backhand. He should have done a little bit more with this volley, but he's just not quite looking as intense or as fresh or something. Maybe, Alan, after this point, you can tell us more.
Yes, I just noticed something just then.
Love 14.
Yes, on the follow through after that first serve, he certainly stayed crouched a little and grimaced a bit, as if he's got some sort of upper thigh injury or problem there. It just didn't look all that comfortable.
Well, it's hard to tell with their long shorts whether they have any strapping or anything. I mean, you'd like to see a little more leg out there.
3 break points for Agassi. 1 set all, 3-2 Agassi in the 3rd.
15-14.
Well, he so often gets himself up when he's in these break point situations. Now one more. Oof.
The crowd appreciating the extraordinary fighting abilities of Pete Sampras, back from love 40 and really having to do some work here, covering a lot of ground at the net, and it's Agassi not being able to pick up the low volley from 3/4 court, frustrated at Sampras's court coverage. Sliding serve, taking Agassi out of the court. Volley
Advantage Sampras
into the vacant area.
Well, Pete is the ultimate all-courter. He's comfortable at the back of the court. He's got the great serve, good volleys.
Frustration for Agassi. He had 3 break points.
3-all.
Interestingly, Andre Agassi brings
15.
his own stringer. I'd say he'd be about the only player that can afford the luxury of that. I don't know why he'd want to do that, because the stringers here are about the best in the world. But whatever it takes.
Love.
Pete hits that forehand down the line so hard
15.
and well when he's in trouble. And Andre Agassi wouldn't have seen that yet in this tournament. Somebody that can handle his forehand cross court and the change of direction back down the line. It's gotten Pete out of trouble a number of times.
Fault.
Overall, the line's been called unsighted.
It's just wide.
So Agassi's got to be careful here. He was up love 40 with 3 break points in the last game. He's been up 30 love this game. Now it's 30 all.
He lost his serve in the 3rd game. It was preceded by a number of points that he questioned, a number of close calls.
Come on!
14-13.
Signaled in, it looked good.
Well, I don't know, Jay. I got a feeling that one might have been wide.
You're in a good spot there, Alan. You're not too far away from it.
I would have probably called that wide. Not in the best spot, but where I see it, it could have been wide.
Very close. Here it is one more time on replay.
Hold your serve, Agassi. 4 games to 3.
Agassi leads 4-3. 15 left.
15 left for Sampras. So at 1 hour and 36, he's already gone 3 minutes longer than any other single match, and we're only 4-3 in the 3rd.
And it's been a lot harder than any of his other matches. And he certainly seemed to be feeling the heat. Grabbing at a water bottle.
You made the point earlier too, John. This would be the hottest match he's played in terms of temperature. He was pretty fortunate. He missed a couple of the hot days in the middle of the day.
The heat in Melbourne on this court is unique in Grand Slam tennis. Can get pretty warm at Flushing Meadow, but not as hot as here at the National Tennis Centre.
Usually in New York at the U.S. Open in late August, early September, it's the humidity that's so high and maybe the temperature not quite as hot. Here, you get both.
Country has everything, Pam.
I've noticed that.
Shot there for Agassi. He sensed that Sampras wasn't really closing to the net, so he added some extra topspin to get the angle. And you could see Sampras just stranded around the service line, leaving the angle cross court open. Agassi's total forehand winners in this set up to 7 now. And that first serve of Sampras is not looking as comfortable, as rhythmic as it previously has.
This will be the biggest point of the match for Sampras coming up at 30-40 and at 3-4 in the 3rd.
He's been under fire. He was down love 40 in his previous service game, having lost 4 of his previous 6 service games.
Took about courage on the second.
Fortune favours the brave. He really went for the second serve right on the centre line at 159 Ks. Not much room for error. Supremely confident in his abilities. particularly under pressure.
Advantage Agassi.
Gone to the well once too often, possibly.
That's his 6th double fault and one of the few to be served into the deuce court.
Deuce.
That's the 5th break point that Sampras has saved in the last 2 games at serve.
Well, 81% in the whole tournament. Saved.
Means on average you've got to have 5 break points to break him once.
Whew.
Advantage Agassi.
Really a tired move by Sampras. Maybe he thought the ball was going long and got a little flat-footed and couldn't pick himself up to make the shot.
Exactly right, John. He thought it was going out. He just casually sort of leant back, and then in the end it dropped in, no doubt about it, and he was forced to just try to flick it back.
Easy to do with those heavy rackets, heavy-headed rackets.
Deuce.
Well, that's an opportunity, a second serve, only 133 Ks. Agassi usually makes his returns.
Advantage Sampras.
Agassi, I feel, senses the opportunity to win, but he is just tightening up. He hasn't had tough competition. He hasn't been in must-win situations, points that he has to win in order to win the match until now.
Oh. Now, Pete broke a string, maybe even a frame. It made a terrible noise. And now he'll have to serve a second. 4 strings. Now he'll have to serve, though, a second serve. If it was Andre's racket string that had broken, he could take 2.
He's so relaxed, he just had a bit of a laugh about it. Like it didn't happen on the previous ad when it was break point.
Second serve.
Brilliant by Sampras there, and what great saving.
Well, the big argument in the discussion since Agassi's gotten through is what we've been talking about is toughness. And Andre said you can argue both sides, whether it's good to have a tough match under your belt and then compromise your fitness, or whether it's better to get through and be fresh and ready to play. I feel like I'm hitting the ball well, and I feel good. That was Andre Agassi the other day after his semifinal.
We joked this morning, all of us, the perfect scenario, 1 set all, 4 all. That's the score right now.
Got your wish? Andre wouldn't want to ever admit that coming into this final he would be underdone and give maybe Pete a little bit of a psychological edge, but in fact I'm sure late in these latter sets he's going to wish he was in this situation once or twice in the last 2 weeks.
Half as many aces as Pete Sampras, but that one coming at the right time.
Second
of aces now.
Again, it's the out wide serve. Both men are serving that one more than the one up the middle.
30-15.
Agassi holds. It's 5-4. Third set.
Agassi leads 5-4. 15
Well,
love.
Pete is one of these players that'll hang his head for 4 or 5 or 6 games in a row, and then suddenly something inspires him and he gets rolling again.
Well, this time last week, Alan, I was with you and you nearly buried him against Larson.
Yeah, you think I'd learn?
First love.
I think we had him buried on Tuesday night a couple of times against Curia too, didn't we?
Well, Jim went as close to winning as anyone can do without actually winning. What a great competitor and a great champion. He's come back strong this time after struggling on serve several times in a row, saving 6 break points his last 2 times at serve. Now 3 easy points. 40 love.
Game
Sampras
Sampras.
game at his 14th ace. And that's exactly what Pete Sampras needed. He likes to win his serve comfortably and then attack the Agassi serve when he's fresh.
This was the movement of the change of ends, with the Agassi crowd getting right into it.
I think it's the Sampras crowd.
15 love.
Serving an unusual number of double faults. 2 in the 10th game of the first set. That, finished in him being broken or losing the first set. 4 in total.
And in his previous 6 matches, only 5.
15.
Heavy feet when asked to run a long distance from one side to the other. Now Andre under pressure at 30 all. He's not going to compromise. He's going to play the only way he knows. Half a hit at the ball, and from the middle of the court goes for the off backhand winner. Sampras just recovering to the centre, wrong-footed.
And Agassi holds. It's 6-5 now in the third set.
Agassi leads 6-5.
Again, waiting for the serve up the tee, up the middle of the court. Watch Andre move to his right as Pete makes his toss.
And that serve about a metre off the centre line, and that was easy stuff for Agassi. Again, Sampras under fire on serve. His wife, Eleanor. They don't have bad seats either, and they have the advantage of a television at their feet. You can see it live and the replays. And there was eye contact between Sampras and the baseline's person before the call was made. He really rode that call.
You saying Pete would try and intimidate?
Maybe he just wanted to be the first to know. Look at him, look to the right immediately.
She was very, very close.
It certainly was. At 30 all, there is nothing in this match. Agassi never shows any reaction when he's been aced, and it must sting at this stage.
We've seen that wide serve time and time today by both players.
Tiebreak, and Pete Sampras surprisingly is 0-4 in his tiebreaks at the Ford Australian Open in 1995.
That's right, he lost the first 2 sets against Courier, 6-7, 6-7, and then he lost the second set against Larson, 6-7, and he lost the first set against Chang in the semifinals, 6-7.
It's the first time that Agassi has been in a tiebreak situation in the whole tournament.
He had one 7-5 set against Kafelnikov.
Take your breath away, Jack.
Breathtaking tennis by Andre Agassi. Sampras maybe not just coming in enough, leaving a little bit of room across court. But Agassi scrambling the ball back, staying in the point. Then when he had to make the shot, he makes it. Sampras only just inside the service line. Love one.
Because it's obviously the biggest game of a set, and when you start to lose 4 in a row, it plays on your mind.
Sampras dominating that point. Great depth on the second serve. He attacked on the forehand. He had the easy forehand volley. He really felt for it. He didn't go at it aggressively, positively. Love two.
Well, head-to-head tie breaks as we look at the low angle of this, and the two-hander coming up right here down that line. Their head-to-heads are 2-1 to Agassi in previous tie breaks, so this is only their 4th.
break points lost. Agassi had the advantage of. With the server in the tiebreaker, and Andre not happy with what he did with this backhand volley, not solid enough, and then leaving the line open. Sampras equally capable of ripping it across court.
3-all.
It's interesting that these guys, this is the 35th set that they've played against one another and only the 4th to go in a tiebreak. Usually in guys tennis you see more tiebreaks, but of course the returner pretty strong by both, so they'd have a lot of breaks in their matches.
What a moment now. 6-all, 3 points all after Agassi led 3 points to love in the tiebreak. Set apiece. We've been playing 2 hours of tennis. Agassi's previous longest match in this whole tournament, 1 hour and 33.
When he has to move into the court to play that forehand.
Sampras
Tries to play it with topspin from way down low. So 5 straight points for Pete after a love 3 lead for Agassi. About the first time that Pete has taken the second serve and played the chip charge play, and then he was on the line. He just missed that forehand volley.
It's 2 serves. He holds them both. He leads 2 sets to 1.
There was room down the line, but Agassi chose to try to beat him and going straight at his right hip. 6-4. See it in replays. Straight at him, that's the blind section. And Agassi can't believe that Sampras has reflexed it back against him. It's set point for Sampras to lead 2 sets to 1.
Thank you. Thank you, quite close.
Remember that tiebreak draw with McEnroe at Wimbledon? I mean, we haven't quite got there, but it's on the way.
Well, look at this, right off the top of the net. It was beautifully directed, but a little bit of luck there for Andre. Sampras still with 1 set point, but it's on the Agassi serve. Well, Pete's certainly certainly went for it. He went for it with everything, just slightly mistimed. It's long and wide. Set all, 6 games all, 6 points all.
How do you read it, Alan, down there at courtside? I mean, it's been a remarkable tiebreak.
Well, the whole match is turning into just a remarkable match, and I'm just so delighted actually to be sitting down here watching it. It's just breathtaking, the shots that they're coming up with, and the crowd. I mean, the feeling that you sense from just sitting down here, it's unbelievable. I mean, they are really into this match, and well, I still think maybe Agassi, but wouldn't even bother me if I was wrong, as I often am.
I felt just a little weakening there from Alan, didn't you? 6-all, tiebreak.
He's like the rest of us, we just don't know.
7-6.
And this is where it gets so
Agassi.
exciting, doesn't it? This set points coming up.
Set point every second point now. And now one for Andre Agassi. On the Sampras serve.
It's the second time in the tiebreak that Agassi's won 3 straight points. He opened up this tiebreak, and then Pete in the middle of it won 5 straight.
Fault. Always one. Thank you.
He's got it. Agassi's got the tiebreak. It's 2-1.
Wayne McEwen actually is saying something to Agassi now.
I mean, how many times have I said something out here?
I know, but it's getting good out now.
I believe that was a soft warning. I think Wayne McEwen was just letting Andre know that a few words have been heard that probably should get a warning. But Brad Gilbert would be ecstatic with the way
Thank you.
Andre closed out
4th set, Sampras to
that
serve.
3rd set.
Well, he's been in this position before, Sampras. Set behind as we go into the 4th.
15.
Alan Stone, maybe you can tell us what kind of aircraft that is.
I'd call it a Tiger Moth. It'd only be a guess.
Well, Pete's looking up at it.
Force love.
He's got a tiger across the neck there, that's for sure.
Maybe you could just run over and ask him, Alan, while he's having an easy game on serve.
18 aces for Sampras.
Tiredness there from Pete Sampras at 40 love. Not making a full effort on the wide forehand.
Game Sampras.
Impressive, wasn't it? One like Sampras, 4 sets.
Well, Agassi waiting for someone to sit down in the president's box.
It's the Governor General. You've got to wait for him.
15.
That's what they're playing for. And it sits on the side of the court. Well, Pete's looking really tired now, and on the last changeover, he was drinking some one of those sport drinks to try and replenish. Something that you constantly need to try and do in a long 3 out of 5 set match.
40 love.
Appears to have the Olympic endorsement, I guess, for marathons.
Well, Pete right now is really not making much of a move at all. I guess he's picking the one up the tee, but
Agassi. One all.
Well, we'll see if Pete can just keep hitting his huge serves. He served a couple of aces in the first service game of this fourth set. And the way he looks now, that looks like the best way for him to win points. Well, that missed by about a meter. You seldom see Pete miss a serve by a meter.
15 love.
Alan, have you noticed anything different down there with Pete?
No, he's just giving the attitude, though, that if he gets behind in the game, that he's going to let it slide, I think, particularly or certainly on Agassi's serve. He did go for a very big second serve there, so I would say obviously also trying to shorten the points.
15 all.
Well, that shot too confirmation of what Alan just said. That previous second serve was 166 that Alan was talking about.
13-15.
Aces keep flowing.
That's up.
I think they're both quite happy to have a few easy games after the intensity of the last few games and the tiebreaker of the third set.
Yes, you feel like
Game
they're both
Sampras.
easing their way back into this fourth set. 2-1, Sampras. But dangerous times, isn't it? Particularly for Sampras.
Pete wanting to have a good fist of the first couple of points because there's more pressure on him than there is on Andre, who's in the lead.
Just the way Pete's walking around the court, the shoulders slumped, head down. It's a sign of a man who's lost a 57-minute third set to go 2 sets to 1 down.
The air temperature is 34 degrees outside, so you can imagine how hot it is on centre court at the moment.
Probably be in the high 50s on the court surface.
14-15.
The hottest final was 2 years ago here when Courier defeated Edberg. And the court surface got into the 60s.
Game Agassi, new balls. 2-all.
Well, that question we've been asking all week is Sampras has played so many sets and so many hours and gone through so much, and Agassi's breezed through, and we've always wanted to wondered rather, which one would be able to last. Well, we're going to find out, it looks like.
15 love.
We're finding out that beautiful rhythm of Pete Sampras certainly stands him in good stead. Even when he's tired, he can produce power and accuracy. That one at 189. 20th ace.
30-15.
Agassi doing a great job just getting to the serve. Managed to get it down low. Sampras tried a tough volley.
40-15.
Maybe looking for the one down the centre, which Agassi has found time and again.
Game Sampras.
3-2 Sampras, fourth set.
Sampras leads 3-2.
It's in 5 service games.
We're always in bright sunlight. They always say the lighter the color you wear, the cooler you'll stay. And both guys are wearing dark shorts, the long baggy types, probably all cotton, so they soak up a lot of moisture and probably get very heavy.
It's a handy point for Pete early in the service game for Andre. 15 all. John, this is where you'd think that Pete would make up his mind. I'll have a go now. It's 15-30. I've got a chance.
I think you'll see him chase anything that's going within yards of the lines. Maybe just trying to nurse that one back. He certainly didn't go with it, go for it with the same gusto that he has so many times.
Game access. 15 love.
You wouldn't have thought that Sampras would have minded too much Agassi going across. It gives him a breather before he serves.
Well, Pete did go back to the back of the court to find some shade when Andre went to his racket bag.
Looking marooned at the back of the court here. Agassi having lots of time to set up. Could have hit the ball either way.
30-15.
Aces keep happening, particularly out wide to the first court. 23 aces for Sampras now. This one only at 160 Ks. He serves second serves faster than that. 8 aces in this fourth set.
40-15.
Well, remember, when the serve is served out wide, it's way away from the little radar gun that registers the speed. So not only does it have a lot of slice, but because it's going away from the gun, registers just a little slower.
10 aces in this set for Sampras.
What I've noticed in this fourth set is Sampras not trying to serve quite as hard with the first serve. the rhythm has come back on the first serve, and he's serving many more aces anyway, because even at 175, 180 Ks, if he places it, he's likely to serve an ace.
Love.
You find the same thing, Alan, when you slow it down to about 175?
Yeah.
I get a hernia thinking about it.
Love.
That's only the 7th point
15.
to go against the server in this set.
From the reverse angle, very, very close, only just wide. You can see Pete looking quickly to see the call.
Love.
He will make a charge this game. If he were to break, he'd be serving for the 4th set.
40-15.
Tiredness affects timing. And the timing of Sampras just off, trying to generate pace on the forehand, catching it late. Sampras agonizing over, reaching wide and low for the final backhand.
And Andre gave a look down the court after that point was over, a prolonged look at his opponent. And Pete, that's great for Andre to see Pete looking very just down.
And the problem there, Pammy, was that Pete didn't think that little roll cross court was going over, so he sort of made a belated effort when it did go over.
15
No, I still think Pete's looking extra, just, I don't know, maybe it's just, I don't know what, but he doesn't look right to me.
His last 4 serves have been aces.
I think some of the aces that Sampras is getting away with now would not have been aces in the first 2 sets. Sampras certainly on economy mode. And this half volley just missing the sideline, 15 all. Agassi digging there, getting the ball back into play when he was in trouble, forcing Sampras to play one more shot, and that's when the error came.
Except with an ace on his service for the last 9 points.
Thank you.
Rather upright when he hit that backhand and never got into a crouched position that would have enabled him to dive for the passing shot. Casually, so casually from 2 to 3 metres short of the service line, picks up a rifled return.
13-14.
Still a break point against Sampras, and if Agassi breaks here, he'll come out and serve for the match.
Accepts the ace, the 27th ace for Sampras.
This is when the athlete gets some adrenaline rush. Knows that if he doesn't come up with a big serve, he's in deep trouble.
Advantage, Sampras.
Well, this must be frustrating for Agassi, but he certainly doesn't show it.
Aces in the set. And remember, Cain, those 81% of break points saved we talked about before the match.
Fault.
Good call, but a good one. Rifling return at the feet of the incoming Sampras. Agassi steadies, measures the ball, chooses which way he goes. Sampras had covered the backhand. Back to Juice.
Advantage, Agassi.
Closing after the serve. 1.5 meters short of the service line for the first volley. Break point.
It's got it. When Agassi returns, he will be serving for the championship.
Agassi wins 5-4. 15 love.
Just a couple of points away from a second straight Grand Slam title as we see Brad Gilbert, and that's the reason why Andre Agassi is #2 in the world, possibly about to win his second consecutive Grand Slam title. Gilbert is taking him from outside the top 20 to #2.
Thirty, 15.
Not too sure about that call. Pete seems to have accepted it, but I must say it looked in to me, but no overrule.
Dropping. Very, very close, and Agassi was chasing it for all he was worth. 2 match points.
Thank you. Game 7. Agassi. 3 sets to 1. 4-6. 6-1. 7-6, 6-4.
Standing ovation, as you'd expect after a tremendous final. And the Black Prince has won the championship.